Hello and welcome to Two Car Pros. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to change the oil and filter for a 2018 Mercedes Benz GLA. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is remove these three bolts here. They're 8mm and they hold on this plastic underbalance piece so we can gain access to the drain plug. The next thing we need to do is remove the oil pan drain bolt here. It is a 13mm. And get your catch basin ready. Yes. When you remove the oil pan drain bolt, you want to make sure this metal washer comes with it and replace it after every usage. So I'm going to replace this with a new one. Okay, so with our new washer in place here, we're going to clean off the mating surface. With the mating surface cleaned off, we can now replace the oil pan drain bolt. And don't forget your washer. Okay, now we can tighten that bolt on up. I'll put the torque spec on screen now. Okay, so now we can put the plastic valance piece back on here. These are 8mm bolts, in case you forgot. Yep. And there you go. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is remove this plastic engine cover piece here to get to the oil filter, which is on the back side here. And you just pull straight up.
So it's here in the fine print.
Once all of the
There's a suction cup on the bottom.
releases are here, you just kind of, it's kind of like a little suction cup and you pull straight up and it comes off. So this is where the oil filter is located here on the left of the engine if you were looking at it straight on, or behind the engine if you're looking on straight on from the front of the vehicle. And the socket I'm using to remove it is a 1 1/16. So we need to remove this. Okay, so now that the oil filter is nice and loose, we can reach down and twist off by hand and grab it. I recommend a rag. Because oil's gonna go kind of everywhere when you're removing it. So you're gonna want to hold it like that, and then we can remove it. Okay, so now with our oil filter assembly here on the bench, we can disassemble it. It's helpful to have one of these tools to remove all of the O-rings. But the first thing we're going to do is... Okay, so you just kind of pull on it really hard and kind of work it around a little bit. There's like little clips inside of there that sort of hold it on. We can grab a rag and clean the inside of it because I want this as clean as possible. You can set the top half aside, and now we can work on the filter material and O-rings. So you just push the filter material down, and it comes off. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is remove these O-rings. What's that? So the next thing we need to do is remove this O-ring. So now we can replace our filter material, and you want to do this first so you don't disturb the O-rings when you're putting them back on. Like that, make sure it is fully seated. Like that there. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, now we can put these two O-rings back on and the O-ring back on this. And they should come with your oil filter. See? 3 O-rings in there. Okay, so I'm going to put the O-ring further back on first so we don't disturb the other O-ring if we were to put that one on first. There we go, that's nice and on. Okay, now we can put our smaller O-ring on here. Looks good. And now we can put our big O-ring on. It might fight you a little bit. It's oiled up rubber on plastic, so it's... Okay, the next thing we need to do is put this filter back into its assembly housing here. There we go. Makes a nice reassuring sound when it's snapped into place properly. Now we can apply a bit of oil to our finger here and wipe it around all 3 O-rings. There we go. And now it's ready for reinstallation. So now we can reinstall the oil filter assembly we removed earlier. Okay, so now we need to tighten that oil filter housing there. And don't tighten it too tight because they're just little plastic threads. If I find a torque spec, I'll put it on screen for you. Oh, I think that's where it wants to be. So the next thing we need to do is remove the oil cap here and place a funnel. So this is the oil that you need, Mobile 1 0W40. So this is specifically for Mercedes Benz, so that meets their new engine specification requirement. I would not put anything else besides this oil in here, and the oil capacity I believe is 5.8 quarts, so I'm going to put 5 in and check it. Okay, so now that I have put 5 quarts in here, I'm going to check the dipstick. So pull it off, wipe it off, and then insert it all the way back down, and pull it back out. And you can see, my camera is going to focus here, that is about 3/4 of the way up, which is acceptable, but what we need to do next is start the engine and let it run for about 30 seconds or so, maybe a little bit less, with the oil cap on. And that'll fill out the rest of the oil galleries and the oil filter, and then we'll get a true rating once we've turned the engine back off. Yeah. Okay, so now that I've ran the engine for a little bit there, we will see that that mark has dropped. So yeah, we can see that it is now about here on the bottom. We need it to be up here in this area there. So we do need that 0.8 in there, 5.8. Okay, so we need to add about 0.8 of a quart. When in doubt, add a little bit and check it. It's always easier to add oil than it is to remove it. Oops. Okay, we need a bit more. Just a bit more. So that's really more or less where you want it. You want it right about there on the dipstick where the oil comes up to, if my camera will focus. There we go. Right there is where you want it. So this is perfect, and we are ready to put the oil cap back on and the plastic engine valance. So now we can replace this plastic engine valance. And again, those suction cups just kind of go on there, and you push down, and they kind of just go boom, and you know it's back in place. So that's how to change the oil in that Mercedes Benz. It's fairly simple and straightforward. If I can do it, you can do it. Make sure you dispose of your oil in an EPA rated safe disposal facility. Do not just dump it down the drain. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you next time.